Fellas, today we're going to be talking about all the weapons that are going to be coming up in update 1.1.4. This is going to be the March 27th update. And despite all the hell I've been giving Bungie for the past couple of days in terms of trials and this no radar bullshit, there is still a number of weapons here that are getting lots and lots of love. I'm going to separate today's video, guys, today in PvP and in PvE categories. PvE will be on the tail end of the video. I'll have it timestamped below, and you can actually go take a look at what I have to say about the PvE side of things. But let's get started on the PvP portion. To start it off, guys, we're going to talk about snipers. Now, snipers overall are getting an increase to aim assist. Now, I'm speaking specifically about what's affecting PvP. Shepherd's Watch is my favorite sniper. I've talked about this in many of my streams. I tell people all the time to use it. Its noticeable perk is moving target, and the weapon has already nasty target acquisition as it is. But with the added buff, it's going to make it even deadlier. The biggest con to this sniper is its handling. A plus 10 handling masterwork makes this baby heavenly though, so get it. Maxim. This is the new Monarchy sniper rifle. Its noticeable perks are snapshot and also has a short zoom sight. It's very snappy and it also avoids reticle sway when strafing. The long walk. This is the trial sniper. You saw a lot of people use it, real crafty, swirl up and down about it. It is another favorite of mine with a noticeable perk on it called quick draw. Very good at laning targets, but it is subjected to the reticle sway when strafing, so be prepared to plant your feet. Again, this is not the last time snipers are going to be shown love, especially here in Crucible, and that's going to be coming more in 1.2.0, which will be in May. Pulse rifles. Let's talk about this, man. There is lots of pulse rifle changes. Everybody knows pretty much that I love pulse rifles. I pretty much played with them constantly back in Destiny 1. So let's break these things down. High impact pulses are to receive a buff in rate to fire and increase base damage. So Relentless, this is the Trials Pulse Rifle. It's gotten very noticeable perks on it, Snapshot and Headseeker. One of the few high impact pulse rifles to stand out to me even in the current meta in Crucible. Adaptive pulse rifles are to receive a buff in rate of fire and increase base damage, but a decrease in precision multiplier. Inaugural Address, that is the raid pulse rifle. It is the my favorite adaptive pulse rifle. It's got noticeable perks on it, kill, clip, and outlaw. Depending on the increase in rate of fire, this weapon could become a monster. Unfortunately, the precision multiplier is being decreased, making this weapon more forgiving, but not necessarily more optimal, guys. The rate of fire change will be the biggest deciding factor in whether this and a lot of other adaptive frame weapons will be contenders in Crucible. There are a few other adaptive frame pulses that have caught my attention, but honestly, guys, I just want to wait. I've got to see how big of a buff to rate of fire are we talking about here before we start talking about adaptive frame being the next meta. Lightweight pulses are receiving an increase in precision multiplier. I like that. They needed it. Currently, lightweight pulses are sitting at 20 damage per crit shot. At 21 damage per crit shot, you still won't be able to 3 burst any Guardian 2 resilience or more. However, at 22 per crit, we could see a pulse rifle that could actively 3 burst Guardians at 7 resilience or less, which is a huge majority of most Guardians. If that is the case, these are the lightweight pulses to look out for. Nightshade, the Vanguard pulse rifle, with noticeable perks on it like kill clip. It's already a solid choice, guys, in the current meta with great base stats and good perks, and I only look for this thing to get better. Infinite Paths 8, this is the Forge 8 weapon with noticeable perks on it like Dragonfly and Aztecross rounds. Again, another solid choice already in the current meta with only improvement in its future. Wonderful base stats and a great energy choice. Despite its range, Aztecross rounds gives it a hefty boost, and Dragonfly is also looking at a buff with an increased radius and damage. Only time will tell, but I think Infinite Paths could be nasty. Nurgle. This is one I just really want to be good. It's got only one noticeable perk on it, full auto. It's got decent base stats, but horrible base range. It has been consistently outshined by the 450 auto rifles for that reason. Hopefully, we'll see this weapon shine a little bit. Either way it goes, Infinite Paths and Nightshade are my two options in the lightweight pulse rifle category. Rapid fire pulse rifles are receiving an increase in base damage. So rapid fire pulses, guys, are already very good in Crucible, but we were getting outclassed by 450 auto rifles due to their range. With this increase in base damage, these pulses will become even more lethal and more forgiving. Darkest Before, this is the Trials pulse rifle with noticeable perks like full auto and quick draw. a long-time personal favorite of mine, guys. It's snappy, it's full auto, and in the current meta, it can even still handle its own. It's gonna only get better. Time-worn Spire, an Iron Banner pulse rifle with noticeable perks on it, Zim Moment, and Aztecross rounds. I've personally masterworked mine here recently, and it has been a nasty option in Crucible. The only con of this weapon is its low handling. A +10 masterwork helps a lot here. Now, exotic pulse rifles to look out for, because we do have an exotic pulse here that falls into the rapid fire pulse rifle category, Vigilance Wing. Now, Vigilance Wing, it's an exotic 5-round burst pulse with noticeable perks on it like Harsh Truce and Last Stand. Another personal favorite of mine, especially in trials. It shoots 5 rounds at a time with the ability to snag the 4th and 5th shot around corners due to its animation. Really don't know what that's about, guys. Don't know if there's like hit scan on the last 2 shots. Whatever the case, it can shoot behind walls very good, which makes your life easier. It's a pulse rifle, but plays very well in peak-oriented scenarios and does a great job catching enemies off guard. I always use it in trials, guys. It essentially works like this. If another teammate gets even a couple shots into the enemy, I can essentially get them in 2 bursts. Really nasty. It falls in the rapid fire category, so it will be receiving a base damage buff, making this sucker even more forgiving. Now, I'm going to mention Graviton Lens, but again, this won't be touched until the May update 1.2.0. It is an exotic now 2-round burst instead of a 3-round burst with noticeable perks like Black Hole and Cosmology. It has been confirmed by Bungie that individual buffs are going toward this pulse. Dropping this weapon from the normal 3-round burst to now a 2-round burst raises questions how the rate of fire will be balanced, since this weapon is considered an adaptive frame. This could be deadly depending on the Black Hole's effect and AoE damage of Cosmology. We'll just have to see though, guys. I'm excited about what they're going to be doing to Graviton Lance, but in the near future, Vigilance Wing is going to be an exotic pulse that I'm definitely going to be trying out. Scout Rifle, guys. The only change coming to Scouts is an increase in base damage for high impact Scouts. This change is not substantial enough for me to think high impact Scouts will take the place of our current Scout Rifles. However, it has been confirmed that exotic Scout Skyburner's Oath has been receiving some special attention, but that won't be coming until May update 1.2.0. I know that Skyburner's Oath does not fall into the same category as our high impact Scouts, but I'm just throwing that out there to show that we are going to be receiving some love to our Scout Rifles. Unfortunately, I just don't think, even with things like Frontier Justice and maybe even Jade Rabbit, I just don't see people using, just because the map, we don't have these first light type maps, these wide spread maps where you can really take advantage of these mega range stats, high impact Scout Rifles like you could in Destiny 1. The way the maps are now, it is better to just honestly have a low impact, high rate of fire Scout like a Mida multi-tool, and maybe somewhere in that 180 category with Nameless Midnight for your mid-range. Alright fellas, so hand cannons are also receiving an increase in accuracy while aiming down sights, and also hip fire accuracy. All of these are going to be on console. Precision hand cannons are also receiving a precision multiplier increase. So west of Sunfall 7, this is the Forge 7 weapon. It has noticeable perks on it like high count or accurized rounds. They are in the same column, so you have to choose between one of those. They're both pretty good. Overall, my favorite precision hand cannon though, and depending on the upcoming buff to precision damage, this could be a great contender in Crucible. I'm hoping that buff is going to be, instead of crit damage of 47 per crit, we might be looking at somewhere around 55. I know some people think 55 sounds crazy, a little overboard. I get it, it does, but I like overboard a little bit. Better Devils will still be a good option as well in the 140 round per minute archetype, along with Annual Skate still being a personal favorite of mine. Again, there's other 140s that are very good. These are just personal favorites of mine. Sunshot and Jack Queen King are still some personal favorites of mine, but they're in the 150 round per minute archetype. But overall, guys, there is just a number of hand cannons that can be really good, but it depends on the accuracy buff greatly. I want to throw more on this list, but like adaptive frame pulses, this will entirely depend on the update. Sidearms. Bungie in their infinite wisdom decides to buff sidearms. Traveler's Judgment 5 though, I'm going to give you my personal favorite. This is the Forge 5 weapon with noticeable perks like Headseeker and Aztecross rounds, or you can even load it out in steady rounds. A great sidearm to masterwork and a weapon to go head to head with Last Hope users. The increased hip fire and ADS accuracy as well as movement speed bonus is really going to make these sidearms nasty, especially in no radar trials. So get ready to get sidearm rushed. The SMG meta will most likely stay the same, with probably an increase in sidearm sidearm usage. Not sure how I feel about all of that. Shotguns, I'm just going to continue to use Accurus with a little bit of deadpan delivery sprinkled into that. As for grenade launchers, Colony will probably be subjected to an increased blast radius buff coming to all grenade launchers. Fucking lovely. As for PvE, guys, a lot of these weapons are going to be pretty solid in PvE, but overall, guys, anything with kill clip, rampage, high impact reserves, and dragonfly are going to be much stronger now. The main focus I have for PvE is when I'm always just, every now and then I'll occasionally test DPS and PvE, which is why Maestro 46 is going to be the first weapon I'm going to test against rocket launchers. It's got noticeable perks on it like triple tap and extended mag. I did a DPS actually a few months ago between this and rocket launchers, but rockets still held the title for more DPS. With the increase in PvE damage though, and an increase in inventory size, you could see snipers like Maestro finally rising to the top in DPS. Well guys, those are the weapons I'm kind of more or less focused on. Hopefully things are going to shaken up. A lot of this is just going to depend on the update, the hand cannon, the adaptive frame, things like that, how much 450 auto rifles are actually going to get nerfed. Here's the thing, if 450s don't get nerfed all that much, then you're going to keep seeing them being used like crazy. And then if you see a huge increase in accuracy, ADS accuracy and hipfire accuracy from things like our sidearms, we'll be looking for Last Hope to be back with a vengeance. And I'm really concerned that that's how it's probably going to go. Guys, thank you so much for coming and watching this video. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.
So let's get closer.